Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Youngminds Malaysia YouTube channel. So thank you, first and foremost, thank you so much for investing your time with us on a Saturday night. Before I start, my name is Ika Zulkifle and I am your moderator for tonight. So before we begin, most of you must be wondering, for those who the first time actually heard of Young Minds Malaysia, what is Young Minds basically, right? So Young Minds is a social enterprise that helping youth with symptoms or disorder in mental health to get the necessary help to save them from getting worse. Young Mind Vision is to break the stigma among Malaysians so that those who suffer can ask for help without fear of community evaluation. So as I was told today that we had a lot of registered audience from Europe, from Hong Kong, from even from Lebanon. So today will be a little bit different where we're going to have some ice-breaking session. Yeah, you heard me correct. There will be some ice-breaking session. So attention to the audience. If you see to your screen, you will see a QR code on the screen. Please scan the QR code and it will direct you to the Slido website. And once you enter, you can type the hashtag Y with a capital Y and then goes by sensitive in the column of joining as participant in the Slido's homepage and press enter. But for those who don't have the QR code function, you can just type www.sli.do and then click enter, and then you can enter the hashtag Y sensitive in the column of joining participant in the Slido homepage. All right. So once you enter the page, you will see on top at the bottom there is an event called Why Do I Feel Sensitive? Right. So from there you click the event, okay, and it will direct you to this particular website. All right. So for the first question that we have is, how are you today? So let's see the responses that we got. Okay, some of you guys said miserable. I hope you are doing well despite that you are feeling miserable. We all need to cope with everything that's going on right now. And then, yeah, I see, I don't know. And then there's some saying bad. I am feeling well, but kind of demotivated and stressed due to exams this Monday. But all in all, I feel okay, Alhamdulillah. And also another one is, I don't know. So I hope for those who are not feeling that okay, I hope after this session, somehow we can make you feel a little bit positive in a way. Okay, the responses keep coming, kind of miserable and bad. Actually, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope everything is well. Okay, moving on for the second one. What do you all have for dinner? Someone saying feeling anxious. Don't worry, everything gonna be good. I'm excited for this event. Okay, now tell me what you guys having for dinner. Okay, maybe not dinner. Maybe some countries it's breakfast, it's lunch. Oh, rice with salmon and probably healthy diet menu. I would say chicken cooked bread and milk. Chinese Maggie. Well, Maggie is no matter what cannot beat any other food, isn't it? Okay, keep coming. Not yet. It's okay. You can eat after a while. Rice and tom yum spaghetti. Wow, we have so many cuisine coming on from you guys. Sushi. That sounds nice. I don't feel like eating anything. All right. Which country are you from? Come on, give me your responses. Like, let's see who are actually our viewers for today. Okay, we have Malaysia. All right, Malaysia. Lebanon, yeah, hello, welcome. Malaysia, Lebanon, marhaba, ahlan wa sahlan everyone. Malaysia, bread and cheese, Malaysia. All right, Malaysia. Okay, we can see the big pool number we are having for our audiences is actually from Malaysia. It's okay, we are welcoming from all over the countries. Okay, now next, tell me your job without telling me your job. Yeah, sounds hard, but I gotta do some Q&A or some testing here from my own. 9 to 5, yeah, we all do that, right? Isn't it? Student, okay, I don't have a job. Cutting people hard to cure them, interacting, opening class online. Well, okay, that's quite a variety of jobs that you guys have there studying, opening class online and then go to sleep. Can we join your what round? I'm very stressed every day looking at lectures. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I sit in front of the laptop for online distant learning, books and studying at home, just great. I work with kids. Yeah, that's the most toughest I would say. customer service, assignment deadline. Yep, keep coming. Somewhere is there any more? All right. Are you emotionally sensitive? Yep. Yes, I am as well, I would say. That's why we're gonna have this session for today. For those who are highly sensitive people, a bit, yes, that's why I'm here. Yeah, correct. I agree with that. Kinda, little bit, definitely high key. Yes, yes, very. I wonder all these emotionally sensitive that being replied, are they like mostly female or mostly male? But yeah, it's an emotional thing, right? Sometimes, yes, not quite. Yes, sometimes not quite. Sometimes depends to the situation. Sometimes, all right. Yes, people said so. Okay. Do we have any more questions coming in? Do you have any audience coming in? Yep. Are you? Yes. Okay. We have another one saying yes. Yes, I believe that's the ultimate reason why you guys are here, isn't it? That everyone somehow battling with their emotion. Either it's sensitive, either is it low emotional sensitive or is it high emotional sensitive. Yep. So probably not so though, depends on the scenario. Yeah, does that there are some percentage that yeah we are not really feeling sensitive all the time, isn't it? Like we do have times where we're gonna feel uh happy. I don't really show it, but actually I am. Yeah, I believe you're kind of person not showing your weaknesses to people, I would say, based on my own experience that how I'm dealing with it. Not so though, it depends on the scenario. All right. Are we getting any more responses for this? This is the first time for everyone who just joined. This is for the first time actually we are using Slido for our breaking session with our audiences. Yeah, and I would say like that's actually cool. We are actually enjoying it. All right, okay, that's all. So moving forward, okay, today we have the amazing speakers on why do I feel so sensitive, where we'll be talking in depth, what makes someone feel sensitive. So the first speaker we have here is a beautiful Lebanese lady that I would say that you guys can see from the screen, where she is currently in Lebanon. She is a graduate diploma in human relations and family life education, while her master major is in guidance and counseling. In addition, she is a psychology instructor at university in Lebanon, and she is Diala Itani. So, marhaba, ahlan wa sahlan. How are you, Diala?
Hi, how are you? I'm
Yeah,
glad to be here. Looking forward for this talk.
yeah, same goes to us. I hope everything goes well there with the pandemic in your country. Okay, moving on to the next speaker. Okay, she is a Singaporean, but she has been staying in Malaysia for 20 years. So basically, she's a Singaporean Malaysian, I would say, who actually graduated Bachelor of Law from the UK. But she is currently a certified academic life coach and also a teacher trainer. Wow, I would say that's a quite a big change of major during your undergrad and what you're doing currently for your career. She has 14 years of experience in working with teens and young adults. She has conducted numerous courses on how to achieve academic and personal success, and she is Nazya Hyder. How are you, Nazya?
Hi, Ika. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. I'm
Okay,
happy to be here.
all right, that's good. That everyone is feeling excited and feeling good to be here. Okay, for those who don't know the term of life coach or life instructor might sound a little bit alien for some of us. Actually, it does for me. So life coach is someone professionally trained to help you maximize your full potential and reach your desired results. So they are like basically I would say a supportive friend and trusted advisor rolled into one. Okay, back to our topic for today. Studies shows that up to 15 to 30% of people could fall into HSP. So what is HSP? HSP means highly sensitive people. And guess what? You are not alone because I think I might be one of those category in that particular HSP as well. Okay, so the first question that we have to Diala, if you are looking from the perspective of science, perspective of psychology, right? So what are the common reasons that make someone actually feel sensitive?
Okay. So to start first, usually when we say sensitive, we take the negative part. Okay, so hopefully after this talk, we all take the things that there are a lot of positive things for being sensitive. We're going to talk about them more, and actually there are a lot of benefits. Okay, sensitive meaning you could be, to describe it a bit more, you are sensitive either to yourself or to other people or to the environment. So sensitive to yourself, meaning that sometimes you take things a bit personally. You enjoy the positive things a lot, okay? So you feel them a lot. And the things that are negative, you also feel them a lot. So also, let's not forget that sensitive mean you actually can sense and can feel the positive things and the beauty around you and the small things that you actually have in life. Also, when you are sensitive to yourself, it's a bit hard to let go. So you have a kind of attachment to things, to people, and to meanings in life. And you take things with your heart, okay? So you can feel things, you have a very big empathy. Okay, with others also you have a very big compassion and a big self-empathy. You're good with people, you are genuine, you are caring, and you can understand people a lot. Okay, and as for the environment, what you do is you feel that you are a bit sensitive to the noise, meaning that to the external stimulus, your response could be overreacted according to other people, and you feel that the environment is a bit too much. That's why it's good to be really focusing on having some time alone. Now, what is the reason why you can have this personality type if you want, or this extra sensitivity? One, it could be a personality trait. Okay, so you are born with this character, you are born with this sensitivity. Two, you could have a predisposition genetically, meaning you have certain genes. So you take a bit from your parent, a bit from someone in your family. So you are already born to be predisposed for this sensitivity. It could be also because of the environment. So your parents were a bit overprotective, you were not really exposed to obstacles in life, and you feel that you are not really ready to face these things in life that are a bit harsh. Also, it could be because of self-esteem. So if the self-esteem is not high enough, it could cause also high sensitivity. It could be because of a big stress. So the more someone is stressed, the more they feel sensitive, the more they feel that they take things personally. It could be a certain kind of reaction to a very stressful one big event, such as a trauma, a grief, a difficult phase in life. Also, that could be affecting, if you want, sensitivity. So all combined together, they can be reasons why someone could be sensitive and why someone is actually feeling this sensitivity.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the explanation. I think if we come back to the reason, the causes, maybe two things that relate to me, perhaps that the personality and maybe self-esteem that make me feel like somehow, that I have that HSP. Okay, before we move forward, I just want to inform you that Miss Diala is, I would say, like public figure in the Middle East, where she gets featured in the TV. So for those that who are gonna follow her Instagram, I guess you would see that how she is well known in Middle East. And also we have one person from YouTube saying that Miss Diala look like Ariana Grande. So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so let's moving forward to Miss Nazya. All right, okay, so I think female always be seen as, complicated, right? That's what we have been labeled for. And when it comes to sensitive or emotional, people will be pointing finger to us, to the lady. So based on your experience as a life coach and giving courses, who are most likely to be sensitive? Is it female or is it male? For the second one will be, have you experienced in a situation where a sensitive person affect their decision making, either in a good way or either in a bad way? Because I think people tend to judge sensitive people can't make decision as they think emotionally and not logically. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. In my opinion, I think both men and women, or guys and girls, are equally emotional and sensitive. It's just that maybe we show it differently, but equally sensitive. The difference that I see from my clients is that I notice that guys tend to choose avoidance a lot. So avoidance of conflict, avoidance of, talking about it and things like that by being silent, or even escaping into an activity. Could be work, could be online games, could be anything really. So that's what I'm seeing. Whereas females tend to be a little bit more expressive about, our feelings. So we tend to like cry and rant and eat a tub of ice cream and, all of that kind of stuff. So I think that men and women are equally emotional. We just show it differently. In terms of, does it affect decision making? I think, as Diala says, that being sensitive definitely has pros. It makes you incredibly empathetic and compassionate. You can do a lot of good with that. You can be really helpful and kind with that. However, when we make like big decisions, we should always be making it with a clear, rational mind. So if you feel that it's coming from a place of fear or guilt or anger, it might be worthy to take some time out to get into a state of balance before you make these big decisions, especially like if your boss is telling you off and you don't want to, in a state of being sensitive and angry, just quit your job or anything like that. So I recommend my clients take a walk or journal, just anything that brings yourself to a state of balance before you make decisions. We don't want to make it from a place of any sort of negative emotions. Yeah.
All right. I think that's quite well explained. I think that's true that female are more likely expressive. I think that's really appear, right? When we are feeling off or something, when someone asks us, we are like, yeah, I'm okay. But then we delete our profile photo and our I'm okay is just like a K, a capital K. So that's really that's how female tend to show their expression. Okay, for the next question for Miss Diala, right? Some people's don't really feel comfortable to approach a sensitive person, as they think that a sensitive person is hard to talk and hard to deal with. So is it true that they are actually hard to talk with and then hard to deal? And what can people who is actually emotional sensitive to do in order to help them to manage their emotions and be more approachable? Because I think most probably other people will have some perception like, she is like so emo that I don't want to go nearby her. So what can those HSP people can do?
The problem is a lot of people tell the sensitive people stop being that emotional and stop being that sensitive. Okay, but then what they don't see, those people who are sensitive, they cry a lot more, yes, yet they are happier than other people. So they tend to enjoy things in life more. They tend to sense the beauty around them, and they are really genuine people. So every time you want to go and tell someone to criticize them and to criticize that they take things too hard, please remember that they are also emotional. They are also genuine. They have empathy. They care about others. They can feel others. So these are characteristics that are very important. So bear in mind, keep this in mind, that those people are really very sensitive and genuine people and very caring, and they can help you. They are always there for you. They are honest people. Also, one of the important things is you never tell someone to stop being something. So you want someone to stop crying, never tell them stop crying. They will feel worse, they will feel bad, they will feel shame. And the worst feeling that someone could feel are shame, guilt, and go into this negativity of thinking bad about themselves. You want to approach someone, try to listen to them, try to understand them, and try not to judge nor criticize them. These are key, and this is very important in order to start actually talking with someone who is sensitive. Someone who is sensitive already feel that they don't want to be burdened on other people, that they don't want to hurt other people. So don't let them feel that they are less. Don't let them feel that they are too much for other people. Try at least to say things very clearly. Try to be honest because they like honesty. Be there for them and understand that they sense things. So maybe pay attention to the words you say, to the tone, to the body language, and try to be honest and specific with them. So this is also very important when you are approaching someone. It could be for someone who is not really, who is really very extrovert and very social, but it could be a bit difficult to say, what am I supposed to tell this person? First, don't let them feel criticized. Don't let them feel judged. Let them feel that they are welcome, and try to adapt a bit. So if they don't like things that are too much, try to give them a safe, calm environment. If they don't like big crowds, try to talk to them slowly, calmly, try to talk one with them. If they don't like criticism, try to talk about how you feel. So try to use the I statement. I personally think this, I feel, I wonder, okay, instead of directly being judgmental and criticizing them. And also try to appreciate that they are emotional people. So maybe you can talk about emotional regulations, about how to handle emotions instead of trying to shut them up. But first, start by listening and start by understanding how they can feel and sense the world around them.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I think the new thing that I learned today is about the I statement, and I think it's true that there's a quote saying that you should listen twice as much as you speak, right? Because you have 2 ears and you only have one mouth. So most people, they just need someone to talk to. Okay. Before we proceed to Miss Nazya, all right, we have one audience, Stella Rose from YouTube, and she said that Miss Nazya, you look so pretty and elegant. So yeah, I think today is everything about girl power, isn't it? Like woman empowerment somehow to the audience. All right, okay. So moving on to the questions. Sometimes we didn't realize what we say may actually hurt people, especially those emotionally sensitive people. So as a friend, how do you approach the emotionally sensitive person? Like what can we do, and what is the best way to talk to them so that they actually don't feel offended? Maybe you have encountered these issues before with your students, or maybe you've seen this situation among the students. So what can you share about this?
Yeah, I think Diala covered quite a bit in regards to this. I would say that the first step is empathy. So empathy is when you put yourself in the other person's shoes. And so, to stop first and just think, okay, if someone said this, what I'm going to say, how would I react to it? So to just pause and think about that. And then the second, I would say, yes, watch your tone of voice. So is it aggressive? Is it sarcastic? Does it sound like an accusation, or is it a blame? You this, you that. We want to try and avoid that kind of tone. And then, as Diala says, your body language, watch your body language. So, if you have your arms crossed or you're standing over someone, that can be very intimidating. And so to try and at least be in a neutral stance, sitting down comfortably, or something that's not so intimidating. And then if someone is reactive and you feel like you can't have a conversation, sometimes it's actually better to write an email or a letter, because at least you'd be able to go over your words and check them again, rather than get sucked into something that might be heated or anything like that. So a letter or email works very well for sensitive people, because they can take time to process what you're saying, and there's just some distance for very pressing or important issues. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you for your explanation. Okay, so we're now gonna move forward with Q&A, as I was told that we actually have a lot of questions coming from there. So let's see what's the questions that we actually got. All right. So Okay, so far we have 27 questions coming from the audience. All right, okay. So I think these questions can be answered by Miss Diala. Okay, the first one, why I am so sensitive that I will cry even being teased a little and I feel like my chest is going to explode when I'm angry or when I try to hold my tears. So what can you say about this situation, Miss Diala?
Okay. First of all, I hope this person is going to feel better soon. Sometimes there are a lot of things that are common between sensitivity, stress, anxiety disorder, or a simple reaction to being overwhelmed. So it's very important first to notice what is happening. Is this person stressed? Is this person anxious? Is this person having a general anxiety? And that's why they are sensitive, because sensitivity is also, it exists as a codependency with depression, with anxiety, with other type of personalities. So this is one thing that is very important. A second thing is notice the emotions and don't try to fight them. Because if you are trying constantly to fight a certain emotion, you will burst later on and you will feel it excessively. So everything, do you want to change? If you want to change something, then start by accepting it. Do you want to feel better? If you want to feel better, then you also need to start accepting it. Don't fight it, don't judge it, don't criticize it, don't feel bad about yourself. Just state it in the fact that, yes, today I am not feeling okay. Today I am crying. And have some self-compassion, which is very important. It's okay to feel not okay. It's okay, it's a very stressful day. I'm not okay today. And when you start noticing this, when you start noticing the thoughts you're having, when you start noticing the stressful situation, when you are start noticing the emotions to see how you are experiencing them, where was it in your body, is it in your thoughts, what is the degree, is it only sensitivity or does it have a lot of other things coming with them? This is when you can start feeling better and you can start knowing the reason, and a bit by bit you can feel comfortable with yourself and with the sensitivity.
All right, okay, thank you. Moving on to the next question. Okay, I think this one can be answered by Miss Nazya. My emotion was okay at first, but suddenly I feel like something was triggering my emotion and I end up crying hard without knowing the exact reason why. So what can Miss Nazya say to this particular person that having this kind of feeling and emotion?
I think that it could have been a buildup of many things that were not addressed, and so it's just it's like something, a small thing could trigger it off, and if she doesn't or he doesn't know what the exact reason is, maybe there hasn't been time spent just alone and in quiet to really think through, and so everything's been kind of buried. Everything that's been happening, every small emotion that's come up has been buried, and so one thing could ignite the whole thing. So if you end up crying, it's okay. It's okay to let it out. It's perfectly healthy. But I would think right after that big crying session to pull out a journal and just start writing. And you don't know what's going to come out, but you'll be amazed at what comes out, because these are probably the thoughts that have been stored, and the feelings and emotions that have been stored and haven't been addressed and haven't been, haven't been tackled. So yeah, as I said, a journal is something that I do. I recommend my clients do, because you'd be quite amazed at how much can be unpacked with you writing it down. If you don't want to write it down, even a voice note, speaking to yourself, you can be your own therapist, you can be your own coach and ask, like, where is this coming from, and just see what comes out. But I think there's probably been many things that have happened and they haven't been addressed, they haven't been talked about, and so it's something that's been built up.
All right, okay. Thank you. So moving on to the third question, I think maybe this one can be answered by Ms. Diala. I was thinking about getting help from a psychiatrist or psychologist, but I'm afraid that I don't know what to speak about and that they can't help me. Yeah, so basically I would say maybe this person afraid to don't know how to make a conversation with a psychiatrist or psychologist. What can you say about this?
Face your fear. Okay, so instead of being afraid, just try to really decide to take care of your self, decide to take care of your mental well-being. Maybe just a small clarification at the beginning. A psychiatrist is someone who studied medicine, so they give medication. So probably maybe before try to start with a psychologist or a counselor or a life coach in order to express your emotions. We all need to express our emotions in a place where we feel safe, where we feel we are not judged, we are free to be ourselves, we are free to just let everything and all the emotions out instead of feeling sad and lonely or depressed and anxious alone. Okay, and then once you choose the person you feel comfortable with, the counselor, the coach, the psychologist, then you start building a rapport and you start building a positive relationship with this person. Once you've established this trust, then it will be easier for you to start wondering about your life, to start thinking out loud, because it really doesn't help to think alone. It really helps to think out loud. So you build the rapport, you have a safe environment, you start talking with the person, and then this specialized professional is going to help you by asking you the right questions. And this is where the conversation starts, the thinking starts, and you will feel better also with the professional who's going to help you.
All right, okay, thank you for the explanation. Moving on to the next questions or next statement. I think this one probably can be answered by Ms. Nazya. I make a mistake. People approach and tell me that I'm useless. I feel my anger rise up. I want to scream, but I can't. End up, I just can lay down emotionless. So what can you say regarding that?
Well, I think that we need to go from a life coaching perspective. I always encourage my clients to go from a reactive to a proactive. So the fact that you make a mistake, that's okay. Everybody makes a mistake. I always say, everyone's a beginner at something, or everybody needs to make mistakes. The fact that people, say that you're useless, that's on them, because clearly they lack empathy and they lack compassion and they're being very judgmental. That is on them. It's not on you. But what is on you is for you to take your control back, your power back from all the external factors, from whatever people say outside, and to say, okay, I made a mistake, so what can I do to improve? What are my resources to improve? Who can I go to learn more? So if you keep asking these questions and focus on that, you are proactive in trying to solve it, and immediately it shifts your brain into a different mode. You will, it's okay to scream, it's okay to be upset, it's okay to feel all those things, but don't get stuck there. Immediately start thinking, all right, what can I do now? What do I need to do now? And so always to go into proactive and not reactive for that.
All right, okay, thank you. Okay, there's another question for you as well. Okay, Miss Nazya, what are the tools that you would recommend for us when it comes to building emotional strength?
There are many tools to build emotional strength. And number one, which a lot of people say, is to actually watch your thoughts. By watching your thoughts, it means that we have to understand that the negative voice in our head is not us. It's not, it's not us. And so what I recommend an exercise my clients do is, when an external event has happened or someone has said something and you are feeling anger and you're feeling upset or whatever, to actually, you're just on a couch watching this drama unfold. So you're watching what has happened, how you're feeling, how you're thinking, and that immediately creates distance from you, your rational self, and you, your emotional self. So if you're watching yourself think about things and all of that, then you will have more control over yourself. So the other thing is, what I always say is to to basically take back your power. Don't let it be outside. Don't let what people say or people do, because we have no idea about why people say or do things. We have zero clue. We don't know if it's a childhood trauma. We don't know if it's their own fears. We don't know if your boss has marital problems or your teacher scratched a car on the way to school. You have no idea what happens. So the most important is for you to take control of it and not worry about why people are saying it or doing certain things.
All right, okay, thank you for the explanation, Ms. Nazya. All right, okay, so for the next question will be for Ms. Diala. I am a guy, and from a young age, parents teach me to be a man and not to be emotional or cry a lot. So now I can't feel anything when I'm sad and I can't cry or anything. So what would you say?
Okay, so this is a very important question because yes, in many, many countries and many cultures, they think that men should not cry. And this is what they tell the minute a child and then a teenager and then a man, they start wanting to express their feelings, they will tell them, stop, men don't cry. Okay. Now, this is a very big misunderstanding because what you are saying, stop crying. What are they hearing this? They are hearing that the emotions are not validated, that they are not allowed to feel this emotion. They are judged for this emotion and for this sadness, although it's very normal reaction if a specific situation is not comfortable for someone to feel sad, if things are not up to their expectations to feel sad. So really by suppressing this, the other person is going to have lower self-esteem. They're not going to feel comfortable with themselves. They're going to feel ashamed of their feelings. And that's why it's very important to notice that it's time to express the emotions, and they need to express it. Now, also, when they want to express sadness, they can know later on to regulate this emotion, meaning they can cry, they need to cry to let it out, or else they can have psychosomatic issues such as pain in the body, they can have excess feelings of sadness later on, or as this person also said, they can become numb, meaning that they don't have emotions anymore. When you shut a certain emotion, such as sadness, not only you shut this one, but you also are stopping yourself from feeling excess happiness, joy, love. So don't try to suppress an emotion because you cannot choose one emotion to suppress. You are actually becoming numb and you are suppressing all kinds of emotion. Start by accepting your emotions. Start by noticing what kind of emotions you are having. Express the emotion and then learn how to regulate this emotion. In some places you want and you need to cry and express and let all the emotions out. In other places, you can learn to manage the timing, to manage the excess way of thinking. And this is by emotional intelligence, emotional regulation. You can learn this with time. But first, allow yourself to express your emotions in a safe environment where you are not judged.
Okay, for the next question, it'll be for you also. So I'm a medical personnel myself, been to a professional help and on treatment, but I don't think it's helping. I'm afraid of my oversensitivity turn to emo. To emo stupor. Yep. So what can you say about that?
As we said, the first thing for change is accepting. Maybe it's time not to be afraid, but to accept some kind of sensitivity. Maybe instead of focusing on the fear and the worry about the future and what is going to happen with the sensitivity, try to embrace it and try to stay right now in the moment. How is sensitivity right now helping me? And be okay with it. until it becomes really a thing that is normal. Like you are saying neutrally, without judgment, I have black hair, I am a sensitive person. And it's also part of you. And once you start embracing it instead of constantly being afraid of it, once you start trying to enjoy the small things every day, once you start saying, okay, maybe my sensitivity is making me cry for 4 hours, for example, per day, I still have the 20 hours that I can enjoy. I have the other things. Start shifting and building on your strength instead of constantly looking on the negative things in yourself, the things that you want to change. This is how, when you focus on your strength points, when you focus on the things that you really like in your personality, you learn to love yourself more, you learn to accept yourself, you increase your self-confidence, and you are willing to face things from a different perspective.
Okay, thank you for your explanation, Ms. Diala. All right, moving on to the next question will be for Ms. Nazya. Okay, why I'm so sensitive that I will, okay. Why is it so difficult to express our emotions? Every time I try to, I tend to find ways to change the topic. So what can you say regarding this?
I think there is a fear there. It could have been, you could fear a negative backlash, or or you maybe you think that it's not going to change anything. Whatever the reason is, um, you feel that it's not necessary to express your emotions. However, I do think that it is important that you do. And even if you don't want to express your emotions to someone else, at least express it to yourself in a very clear form. So to label that emotion, what are you feeling? I'm happy, or I'm sad, or I'm angry, and then actually go deeper into it. I'm angry because of something. I'm angry because someone did something to me. So actually label it and acknowledge it and be aware of it, and then it might be easier for you to express it. Also, when you want to express it, what are you hoping in return? Are you hoping that someone will understand it, or someone will change how they are? If so, I think you should be brave, and you should be brave and say it. And if you don't want to say it in personally, then maybe you could write it in a letter, or text it, something that makes you feel more comfortable with it. So find what makes you comfortable, but first you have to articulate and identify and label that emotion yourself, so that you have the words when you want to express it to somebody else.
Okay, moving on to the next question, still for me, Miss Nazya. Yeah, I think that's somehow relatable for me, this question. There's still a stereotype that crying shows weak leadership. I want to be a leader, but I sometimes accidentally cry in public. What's your opinion on this?
I don't believe that crying shows weak leadership, as Diala says. I think that there's something in the culture where we see crying as weak, and so men or guys tend to not want to cry. I would say that if you cry in public, it's okay, and just to regain yourself. And focus on something else, focus on like a mindful technique. So if you feel like you're about to cry and you don't want to look vulnerable, or you don't want to show that is focus on your breath. Just breathe in, breathe out, listen to that breath go in, listen to that breath go out, and just focus all of your attention onto your breath. And quickly find your composure. But does it show weak leadership? I don't think so. I think it could be, it just shows someone who is sensitive, and that's not a bad thing.
All right. All right. Okay. For the next question, will be maybe we can go for Miss Diala. Okay. Why is it so difficult to express our emotions. Every time I do, I tend to find ways to change the topic.
Okay, so I think we mentioned a bit, it's difficult to express emotions depending on many things. First, it could be out of habit. You are not used to, if you want to add to Nazya, you are not used to maybe expressing your emotions, or you did not have as a child the safe environment where you can express your emotions. Also, you could feel ashamed because you are overthinking certain kind of emotions. So you feel as if they are negative, they are not worth it. Once you are judging these emotions, it's very hard to express them. Another reason could be because you are not in contact with really emotions. You know, labeling the emotion exactly is very important. So if you feel, for example, anger, okay, what is anger? It's not that you are angry only. Behind and beneath anger, there is a lot. It could be sadness, it could be hurt, it could be a judgment, it could be self-criticism. So that's why sometimes we do need the help of others for us to notice our emotions, to understand them, to have a safe environment to express them. Some people are also, it takes them some time to express and to talk, so that there are other ways. As we said, journaling is very important. So they can write their emotions, they can write the thoughts and see how a thought is actually affecting a certain emotion and a behavior. Also, those who are creative, they could express with music. Some people would express with drama, we call it drama therapy, or even with art. So there are many ways to express emotions. Just don't give up and try to understand and get in touch with your emotions.
All right, okay. We have the next question, the second question for you. I always observe my emotions and feelings. I notice that whenever I get angry, I will start to cry and I cannot control my tears. Why is it like this?
Why not? Why is it? Well, how should it be? Okay, if you are sad and if you are having a stressful moment, how would you want to express? So that's why at the beginning, instead of asking, why am I this way? Maybe start saying, at least I have a way of expressing certain emotions. And this is very important. Also, if you're worried on not having this excess anger and having this excess crying, then maybe start noticing how the emotions start from the beginning. Okay, so instead of piling things up and then feeling down suddenly, start taking things gradually and start noticing them. Also, sometimes the emotions, they really need some time to calm down, because we have a part in the brain, that's the amygdala, which is responsible for all the emotions. And usually it really goes on fire very quickly. And for us to calm down, we need some time. We need more breathing. We need more oxygen. We need some moments to calm down. So maybe instead of saying, I don't want to cry anymore, time it. Say, today I want to cry for a certain period of time, and then I will feel better, and then I can continue my day.
Right, okay, thank you. That will be the last question for you for Slido before we move on to another one. Okay, next one will be for Miss Nazya. How can I care less about what other people think or their criticism? How do I realize my own self-worth without having it depend on other people's approval?
Yeah, this is an important question. I think, as I mentioned before, it gets very, very tiring to actually worry about other people. It's incredibly, if you got to deal with like why your friend says something like this, or your boss says this, and we have no idea what the background is, or what's caused them to say it. It's very tiring because you're trying to guess, right? You're trying to guess what other people are, why other people said certain things. So I would say to always bring it back to yourself. So when someone criticizes you, what I've noticed is that usually there's an identity or a value that you have that is being threatened. So when your boss, for example, says, why are you late to work, or I don't like this about your work, that's a criticism. But what's happening is that your identity or your value of I do a good job or I'm a valuable employee is being threatened there, right? So the criticism is threatening that identity or value that you have. So what I would say is to bring it back to you, always bring it back to you and bring it back to the identity, which is if you believe I am a good employee, to say, where have I shown that I'm a good employee? And what can I do to keep showing that I'm a good employee? So what happens now is that you are judging you against you. You're setting the bar. You are going to grow. You're going to have self-improvement. You're going to be better than last year and the year before that. And you are going to start only worrying about yourself and not what other people say, because people can criticize and we don't know where the criticism is coming from. We don't know whether they're coming from a bad day and then we're getting the criticism. So for me, it's always come back to yourself and what's the identity that is being threatened right now. If, for example, your parents criticize you, possibly it's you saying that, no, I'm a good child, I'm a good daughter. So where have I shown that I'm a good daughter? How can I continue showing that I'm a good daughter and forget about the criticism that has been said to you? Use it as a tool to keep growing and keep getting better.
All right. Okay. So for the last question for you, Miss Nazya, from Slido, it will be, I'm an empathetic person. Sometimes it can be overwhelming as I literally feel their feelings as I put myself in other people's shoes. How can I regulate this?
Yeah, some HSPs are also called empaths, so they naturally feel other people's feelings, right? And they even can feel hurt that somebody else feels, or if they're seeing somebody in physical pain, they might even feel the physical pain that person feels. So an empathetic person is open and is receiving from everywhere, all the feelings, all the pain, the joy, the downs, everything. As a fellow empathetic person, I know what you're going through. I can understand that. And I think the most important thing that works for me is to recharge by myself. So in a room with just my own energy where I'm not feeling anybody else's. It's just me. And that's how I recharge, so that I'm not overwhelmed. Because when I'm outside, there's constant stimulus and stimulants, whether it's noise or feelings or whatever, and that can be very overwhelming for me. So recharge on your own, doing whatever you like. So for me, it's being in a room by myself, reading, for example. You could play sports or go for a walk, go for a jog, whatever that is. But just be by yourself for a little bit, just so that you know which is your feelings, which are your feelings and which are other people's feelings, and you can start to have a boundary there.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So that's all from our Slido. I'm so sorry for everyone who've been asking and I didn't answer your questions. You might contact our speakers on their social media. Okay, let's move to the questions from YouTube. All right. Okay, we have one from YouTube from Muhammad Luai Sarhan. So this question goes for Miss Diala. What does it mean when a highly sensitive person feels dead inside and reject all negative emotions, although sometimes it's needed to feel other people's pain?
It could be many things. It could be a kind of a defense mechanism, meaning that your brain is trying to protect you because there are a lot of things going on around you. That's why, a bit by bit, you need some time in order to get in touch with your emotions later on. Also, it could be a way of, if you want, because you've been judged or you judged yourself, that's why you are at a certain point where you are too dissociated from your own feelings and your personality. And that's why you are not feeling these emotions anymore. Now, at least you started noticing this. At least start noticing, I don't like this where I feel blank or empty. I want to go back to feeling my emotions. And with that, know that emotions emotions, don't try to judge them or to criticize them or to choose. Say, I want to feel joy and happiness and passion, and also I want to feel fear. It's normal to have a bit of fear or stress, so that you can actually feel that you want to self-develop, you want to motivate yourself. It's normal to feel sad when there is a trauma or there is a sadness or there's a pandemic. So these situations try to start by accepting them, try to notice them, and start by looking for those moments that you appreciate. Relearn how to feel emotions, relearn to associate events with certain emotions, with happiness, so that you can train your brain again to feel things around you. And of course, it's not easy, yet at least you start noticing them. Also, trying to seek the help of people around you. Stay in touch with those people who are comfortable with themselves, who can boost your self-esteem, who can accept you the way you are, and just give you and allow you to just be yourself and to say everything without really judging you. And then you will start feeling the emotions again. Instead of feeling dead, you will feel more alive.
All right. Okay. So we have the last question from Miss Diala. Is there any relationship between being highly sensitive and feeling anxiety? Will they trigger or lead to each other?
There is, I'm not going to say there's a cause and effect, there's a high correlation between sensitivity and anxiety. Okay, that's the price you pay when you actually feel the good things a lot. Sometimes you feel the negative things too. So studies show that there's a big relationship between anxiety and sensitivity. But again, you could be, because you are an anxious person, you could be too sensitive. And also it could be because you are too sensitive, you did not express your emotions properly, you did not get in touch with the real emotion. That's why you felt anxiety. And also, thoughts really affect our emotions. So probably overthinking certain stressful events would cause more feelings of vulnerability, would cause that you are not in control. And those focus on the not being able to control things, focus on the future, is going to affect the whole person. So it will become a vicious circle of feeling sensitive, weak, vulnerable, anxious, and then things are out of proportion. That's why I try to step by step write the thoughts, how they are affecting their emotions, how you want to start noticing things more, so that you don't go into the habit of excess anxiety or a lot of feelings of anger and sadness and depression.
All right. Okay. I knew that I said that this was last year question, but we just got a new one that I think probably you can answer this. We have one from Shahira Hamza, and she said, how can a child who have been through abuse emotionally can be completely mentally drained? Like the case of baby Junin, before she lost her life due to abuse, she's not showing any signs of pain and seemingly has no emotions.
So could you repeat the question, please? Are we trying to teach children to be more sensitive, or?
Right, okay. How can a child who have been through abuse emotionally can be completely mentally drained? So most probably, how can a child that have been going through abuse
How can we
emotionally?
overcome this? Yes.
Yep.
So a child who was abused emotionally, the first thing is they will learn to shut themselves down. They will isolate themselves. They will have low self-esteem. They will have low trust in themselves and in others. They will have less empathy and less self-compassion. This is the first thing to notice. Okay. Now, of course, with the help of professionals, it's very important to get the help as soon as possible, so that they can rework with the child. And it's very doable. You can rewire the brain to learn new things, for them to love themselves. This is key. They can start by stressing the positive things in a personality in this child, so that they can start trusting their capabilities, trusting themselves, loving life, so that they can overcome this trauma. So being with someone they really trust, rebuilding trust with the environment, trusting their capabilities, rebuilding self-esteem, going again to positive places where they can try to enjoy things and actually feel free to talk about these emotions, and also spend time with people who are safe for them, is going to help them a lot to overcome emotional abuse, to regain confidence, and to get to work more on emotional intelligence, being understanding their emotions, trusting their emotions, and regulating them, and also understanding and trusting other people and their emotions.
All right, okay, thank you, Miss Diala. Okay, moving on to Miss Nazya, we have from Nur Amira. How can family or partner react when they face this kind of question? Okay, the question is a bit vague, but I believe she asked like, how can family or partner react when they face highly sensitive people or face in this situation? I would say, yep.
Yeah, I think we touched on that before. So obviously we're much more sensitive probably to the people in our inner circle, because we are getting our validation from them or acceptance, and they're part of our community. However, I think just like how we stated before, um, we need to just practice kindness and go to them in a very soft manner and check our tone, our body language, and have empathy for why they might be sensitive. um yeah, and to not take it on ourselves if they continue to feel a certain way. It is not, we can only do the best that we can. So if we're already being aware, we're already being kind in our words, we're already being compassionate, we're already checking our tone, checking our body language, and all of those things, um that's the most that we can do, that's the best that we can do. The rest is also on the other person. Both parties have a part to play.
All right. Okay. So we have the last question for you. Are there any benefits or value or good sides of being highly sensitive people?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's also something that Diala, as well as myself, touched on earlier, that you can be really kind, you can spur you on to do the impossible because you feel so much for someone else. You go out of your way, you're incredibly honest, you're incredibly generous, you're incredibly charitable. There are many, many good things of being sensitive. You're also probably someone that people like to share things with, and people know that you understand where they're coming from. So you might be someone in the group that everybody loves to go to you to share their problems, or share what they're going through. So there are many, many benefits of being sensitive or highly sensitive, and we just have to balance out the cons, really, in the way that we process them.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So that's all the Q&A we have for our speakers. So before we can wrap up, okay. So I believe that today we have a lot of fans for Miss Nazya and also Miss Diala. All right. Okay. So you guys who wants to keep in touch with Miss Diala, you can follow her IG, her IG and also Facebook with the username of Talk with Diala, TalkwithDiala. And whoever want to keep in touch with Miss Nazya, you can go to her website, which is www.nazyahyder, NazyaHyder.com. All right, okay, we have come to our end, to the end for our program tonight. So before we end the program, I would like to request for our speakers to give their conclusion or advice to the audience. Perhaps we can start with Miss Diala first.
So as someone who talks with a lot of emotionally and sensitive people, and as a sensitive person myself, first I learned to accept it and to actually enjoy it. Yes, I'm sensitive. I cry, but I also share a lot. I'm genuine. I laugh a lot. I enjoy things a lot. I see things and I experience things with passion, and this is very important. So try first by accepting the things, and as also Nazya said, try to have a balance. It's not very bad. It has a lot of positive things, and if you want to work more on yourself, on on accepting others and trying not to take things too personal. It's a self-development, but with that, you need to start by accepting everything about you, by loving yourself, by having a good self-esteem, and then work a bit on your emotional intelligence. Know that people can think differently. Maybe they don't mean to be harsh on you. Accept others, feel good and genuine about yourself, be open-minded, and enjoy life to the fullest. Some days are bad, but other days are beautiful. Keep an open mind and be optimistic for the future.
All right, thank you. And what do you have to say to us, Miss Nazya?
Yeah, I mean, just like Diala, I'm also an empathetic person, very sensitive. Maybe that's why we do the jobs we do, Diala, because we understand how people are. But I think my biggest tip is to always kind of bring everything back to ourselves. We are not the victim of circumstances. We should not worry about what other people say or think. Let them do it, because we can't control it. We don't know where it's coming from. Is it because of us, or is it because they have had some trauma, some fears of their own? So to always bring it back to you. And that's the easiest and healthiest way of dealing with your emotions. And so a therapist, a counselor, a coach, can help you process these things. And you'd be surprised, because obviously that's what we're trained to do, to ask you the tough questions and for you to really dig up all the answers. And then if you don't want to do that and you're not comfortable with that, start a journal. That's something that you can at least see your thoughts down. The other thing is that I always tell my clients, when you hold the same thoughts in your head, there's no space for new thoughts. That's just how the brain works. There's only so much that it can hold. So if you're trying to remember a phone number, for example, there's only a certain numbers. Before you write it down, you can remember the other numbers. And so if you're holding those thoughts in your head, no new ones can come, no fresh ones can come, no good ones can come. And so write it down, take it out of your brain, take it out of your head, and then new ones can start flowing, and you can start regulating that emotions again. So for me, my biggest advice is to always pull the power back to ourselves, not to anyone else. The onus doesn't lie on them, and it's on us to regulate our own sensitivities.
All right. Okay. Thank you to the conclusion and summary from our speakers. So I would just like to share with everyone, right, with the audience, that being highly sensitive is not disorder. Being highly sensitive doesn't mean you are mentally disordered or anything. No, it's normal because it's emotion. And as a human being, we do have to have that emotion, feeling happy or whatever. It's not a disorder. So you don't have to feel like you are sick, you are mental disorder or anything just because you are feeling highly sensitive. Okay, with that being said, I would like to apologize to everyone if there are any flaws, weaknesses from me being as a moderator throughout the program for tonight. And we hope to see you again in the next forum, probably after 2 weeks. And I would like also to ask for everyone to actually please follow Youngminds social media for the latest updates. Until then, stay safe where you guys are, and I hope everything will be the best. Don't look at the dark side. Always keep looking on the bright side. With that being said, bye everyone.
Bye. Thank you.